Welcome to the Butler Beat. I'm Mallory Duncan.
And I'm Bryn Erdy.
This week, we will provide a closer look at the newly elected SGA President, Chad Pingle.
And we will give you recaps from a number of sporting events on campus.
But first, Chad Pingle is the newly elected SGA President for the 2014-2015 school year. He shared his plans for helping Butler next year. The plans come down to three big goals: to be engaging, efficient, and to represent.
To increase new student involvement, to create a fund for new student organizations so that they can grow and develop, as well as to open communication between our students and administration, and that's to engage. Then to be efficient, maximize our programming for students, make sure that we can support student organizations with grants funding, as well as finance some campus improvement projects. And then the last part is representing the student body, so making sure that we have transparent communication with the students and student organizations, and then also making sure that we're accessible so that students can meet with us, we can hear their concerns, and then ultimately take them and voice them to administration.
To help accomplish his three goals, Pingle will appoint 4 new vice presidents to SGA. Pingle will succeed the current SGA president, Craig Fisher, in April.
With a new SGA president focusing on the year ahead, we shift our focus to women's basketball. Butler played one of their biggest Big East rivals, Xavier, last Tuesday. That's why the game was declared a fog out, where all the fans wore gray to support Butler. The team had a rough start to the game after missing several shots, but that didn't stop the football team from showing some spirit. Butler managed to tie the score at 30 points by halftime. Coming out second half, the team showed great defense and only allowed Xavier to score 22 points. Butler ended up winning 57-52 and added another win against Seton Hall last Saturday. The team travels to Illinois this weekend for the Big East tournament.
Students are anxiously awaiting the final score of another sporting event that happened on campus this weekend. Butler's Spring Sports Executive Board is tallying points to determine who wins this year's spectacular. There are many event options students can choose to compete in. Joe Buzel reports on the ones that are a bit more mainstream.
Spring Sports Spectacular is an event that takes place at Butler each year that consists of various games and athletic competitions for students on campus. All of the Greek houses on campus represent themselves as a team, while the independents have a team as well. Among the most popular events in the competition are basketball, dodgeball, wiffle ball, and volleyball. All of these sports take place in the HRC, Hinkle Fieldhouse's main gym, or the West Gym inside of Hinkle. While the women of Delta Gamma lost in the first round of the women's basketball tournament, junior Maggie Brennan appreciates the competition spring sports provides.
Well, I played basketball in high school, and obviously I don't play here, so I kind of miss it. So it's a nice way to play some competitive basketball and team bonding with my sorority sisters.
However, not all hopeful athletes were able to partake in their favorite activities.
Now I'm standing here at the Butler Bowl where tonight's outdoor events were supposed to have taken place. Those events include men's soccer, women's soccer, and ultimate frisbee. Those events have been canceled due to the extreme weather temperatures expected this evening.
Spring sports took place the earliest it has ever taken place in the last 5 years due to Hinkle renovations. Regardless, that did not prevent a fun night of sports in the indoor venues on campus. Delta Tau Delta defeated Sigma Nu in the men's basketball championship, while Kappa Kappa Gamma captured the women's dodgeball title, for instance. Executive Committee member Ariel Noel knows that while it may be stressful, putting on spring sports every year is worth it in the long run.
I love being on exec because it's such a great cause to give back to, and it's so much fun being up till 6:30.
The spring sports winners are expected to be announced near the end of the week. For the Butler Beat, I'm Joe Buzel.
Basketball, volleyball, and wiffle ball are not the only events spring sports boasts. Murray J. Conduffy has the story on some of the quirkier events.
Spring sports! Spring sports!
Maybe it's the basketball tournament that pumps you up, or maybe it's cup stacking or Oreo stacking. Either way, there's no shortage of interesting events at Spring Sports Spectacular. Freshman Katie Goodrich said her passion is arm wrestling.
Well, I started arm wrestling when I was really little because my dad used to stay home with us sometimes because he worked nights and he made us arm wrestle for food. But at a certain point he had to let us win because it would have been like cruel and unusual punishment for him to starve us. So my brother and I learned at a young age how to arm wrestle.
A popular water event is Battleship, where groups of 4 try to stay afloat in a canoe and use rafts, buckets, noodles, and water guns to sink their opponents.
We dipped our boat within 2 minutes. Yeah, not even. That was good.
A lot of events use props, like razor scooters or plasma cars. But don't be quick to write any of these events off as easy.
This may seem like kind of a funny thing to compete over, but it's actually not as easy as it looks.
Mystery events require that people just show up and compete in a random competition.
My favorite weird event is the mystery events because everyone's on the same playing field because you have no idea what it's going to be, and everyone has all these different skills, so it's really fun.
And for those who maybe aren't the athletic type, there's always events like Sudoku puzzles and board games. The quirky Oreo stacking competition usually draws a big audience and riles up competitive spirits. Senior Kiefer Berry won this year's men's Oreo stacking competition with a total of 28 Oreos.
Oreo stacking is a mental art. Steady, calm, turtle. It's turtle leg. Turtle versus the rabbit. That's what it comes down to. That's what brought home the win today for me.
So no matter your skill set, chances are there's a spring sports event for you. For the Butler Beat, I'm Marie J. Conduffy.
More on spring sports to come, but first, Butler's entered in a new kind of competition, a recycling one. Butler University is one of hundreds of schools across the nation involved in Recycle Mania. This is an 8-week-long program promoting recycling. Each week, results are tallied to create a competitive atmosphere.
Well, I think it helps any university to have the image of being a sustainable institution. Eco isn't necessarily, I mean, we love that it gives a better image to Butler, but we're more concerned with doing well for the environment.
To encourage even more recycling, the ECO Dogs Committee at Butler hosts games and gives out prizes for students, faculty, and staff.
Hopefully more students will recycle after they take advantage of the new late-night food options at C Club. The Butler Cuisine Bureau officially announced that the Campus Club, or C Club, will continue to stay open late for students. The BCB had a trial run that started at the end of last semester and went through January. Now from Sunday through Thursday, students can come by until midnight. Hot food is available until 9 p.m., but snacks and drinks are available until closing.
Looking for a sweet serenade? Some Butler students with musical skills got to show off talents to campus at Java Jams. Jeff Stonick tuned in to their performances.
If you were hoping to study in Starbucks on a Wednesday night these last 2 weeks, you may have been pleasantly surprised.
Starbucks looked more like a concert venue than a popular study place as students packed in to see the performers.
That's right, students were performing musical acts at Java Jams, a competition put on by the program board's coffee house.
And it's a competition between a bunch of different Butler musicians. We have them come in and audition for us, and we pick the top acts that we think will be good in a show, and we put them in for one night, and basically we have them battle it out.
7 acts, both solo and groups, played original and cover songs. Junior Joey Hebert says the large audience was something he never experienced before.
This was a really cool experience. It's awesome that the coffee house put this together. You know, I've never really been able to perform in front of this many people. There's so many people that packed into this little Starbucks. And
Hebert and the other contestants played for a chance to move on to round 2. Everyone in attendance had the opportunity to vote for their favorite performers, and the top 3 vote earners moved on. Senior Ryan Nugent says it doesn't matter if he wins or loses. He loved playing the piano and singing for the audience.
Really, the funny part is I wanted to do it just for fun. I didn't know it was a competition at all. I thought it was a bunch of Butler people getting together and just trying to play some music.
The next round won't be determined by votes because the performers will have to impress some judges if they want to win. The finalists who are set to perform for the judges are Bob Barrick, Rita Spring, and Megan Carter, Amy Street, and John Frame. They will have played on Wednesday, March 5th at 7 p.m. in Starbucks. For the Butler Beat, I'm Jeff Stonick.
Java Jams wasn't the only singing that could be heard on campus this past weekend. After the close of A Little Night Music, students are wondering if the show paved the way for more musicals at Butler. Mallory Duncan has the story.
For the first time in 10 years, a musical was performed at Butler. The songs and scenes of A Little Night Music by Stephen Sondheim filled the Eidson Duckwall Recital Hall this past weekend. Since the theater department does not produce musicals, the project had to be completely student-generated. 3 students were up for the challenge. Elena Bartkowiak, the director of the musical, says they chose A Little Night Music because of the versatility of the show.
Little Night Music, I think it's not done a lot, so it's something new for people to see. And also, the story speaks to people of all generations. It's about love and about sex and about people being confused, things that speak to a lot of different people. So there's something for everybody here.
Because musicals are rarely done at Butler, the show garnered a lot of attention and many students came to the show. Freshman Thomas Kennedy said the show was different than expected.
I gotta say, I don't know what I was expecting, but it's a lot more entertaining than I thought it would be. It's just a lot more exciting, and it's also pretty funny, and I thought it'd be a little bit more dry.
Apart from the students, the music and theater faculty gave the show a lot of support. Bartkowiak says she hopes this means there will be more musicals in the future. For the Butler Beat, I'm Mallory Duncan. Another innovative event drove onto campus last week. Principa Solar Car is a team that creates solar-powered cars to compete in races. They are happy to announce that the team is designing its next car, RA 9. Team faculty advisors Joe Ritter and John Broer came to campus last Wednesday to talk about their achievements and the goals the team had for their next race this summer. The 2 advisors also talked about how solar cars work, explaining that the cars depend on exterior panels to convert sunlight into electricity. Junior Christina Fox says the lecture was informative and attention-grabbing.
I originally went to this lecture because of I was going to get extra credit for a class, and I'm really happy that I went because it was really interesting to see all like the motivation, hard work they put in to gain the success they have over the past 12 years. There's a lot more engineering that goes into making these cars, and it was really interesting to learn about them.
The team's new car will feature a new body and electrical engineering features.
Even though most students are waiting for the final scores, Spring Sports Spectacular is more than just a competition. With help from Penny Wars, a Spring Sports-sponsored event, Butler University raised almost $3,000 for Special Olympics Indiana. Sigma Nu brother, volunteer, and active participant for Spring Sports, Will Kinder says it was easier to donate to the cause.
So yeah, I don't think it's ever really about the winning, but rather when we asked brothers to donate to Spring Sports for Special Olympics, we just kept reminding ourselves of the cause and why we're doing this and everything. So once everybody kind of got on the same page, it was really easy to raise a lot of money.
Sigma Nu raised $525. Approximately $33,000 have been raised and donated to Special Olympics Indiana this year through the help of Spring Sports and Polar Plunge.
And from spring sports to spring break, for many students, break means travel. For some students, it means taking a trip with friends to an exotic location for a week to soak up the sun and have a good time. We talked to Dr. Fletcher at the HRC's Health Services about some ways to stay safe and healthy on your trip.
Heed the advice of the people, the flags and stuff on the beaches. You know, if they have a black flag, that means don't go out there. You know, a lot of people feel really risky, you know, it's kind of fun, oh, let's just do this, but lots of accidents and lots of death and lots of really serious damage happen, you know, when you get risky, especially when you're away from your place of comfort.
In addition to paying attention to the choices you make, Dr. Fletcher recommends having a friend always knowing your itinerary and checking in with them throughout the day. She also mentions picking up everything you need before you leave, such as medications and sunscreen. Spring break is a good time, and the better you take care of your friends and yourself, the better break can be. Thank you for joining us this week on the Butler Beat. I'm Mallory Duncan.
And I'm Bryn Erdy. Have a great spring break.